Hey guys, welcome to my house. I just wanted to make a quick video about technique. Hopefully you found the uploaded videos for each exercise, and I hope you start practicing those for our auditions next week. But make sure that you do so with the right approach and technique. So if you look at the second page of your packet, it's titled Basic Technique Tips. I wanted to go over each point. So the first thing is the fulcrum. I'm not sure if you guys know much about that, but basically the fulcrum is the balance point of the stick. So if you think of a seesaw, there's a balance point right in the middle. Well, with the drumstick, it's not evenly weighted, so it's not in the middle, but the balance point or tipping point is where our fingers come together and the teetering motion of the stick happens. So we will be utilizing 3-finger fulcrum, which means that there's sort of a triangle shape involved. And the reason that this is a good technique is because in architecture, the triangle is the most stable shape. So if you think about things that have been constructed, what's the longest standing man-made architectural achievement? Well, it's the pyramids. And the reason is because the triangle is such a strong shape. So we use that when we drum, and it helps us to get a good strong foundation for our technique. So I'll come closer so you can see. With the 3-finger fulcrum, we're using the thumb, the middle finger, and the index finger. These back 2 fingers here, my ring finger and my pinky finger, are sort of just along for the ride. But as you can see, the point of contact is like a triangle. So my thumb is flat on the stick, my index finger is touching on this second joint here. So here's my first joint, the first part of my knuckle. Here's the second joint, touching on the second joint. Same thing for my middle finger. Here's the first joint, here's the second joint, that's where it's touching. And the thumb is sort of right in the middle of those two, sitting flat. Now, one important thing is to make sure that you don't have a gap here between your fingers, because that can cause issues later. So what you'll do is tighten that up like this. Just roll your thumb forward. And again, these back 2 fingers, you're just going to cradle the stick with that. You shouldn't have a lot of tension here. In fact, when you play, I should be able to come through and literally just pull the stick out of your hand because it should be so loose. So that's the fulcrum. The next thing is the stroke. I went over this a little bit earlier today. We're going to be using a legato stroke. So remember the tennis ball concept. Think of the tip of your bead as a tennis ball, and you want to have the same smooth motion that you would see if a ball is bouncing. You don't want to stop the stroke like this. We want a nice, smooth motion. So when you're practicing all of these exercises, make sure that you're utilizing a legato stroke. This is called like a pizzicato stroke, or staccato maybe. There are different names for the technique, but we're going to be primarily using legato unless it's very slow. And I will tell you if we're going to be doing that. One thing I forgot to mention as before, and we went over this today, we're going to be using an American grip, which is in between German and French. So German grip would be wrists flat towards the ground. French grip would be like timpani. That's how you get fast. German grip is power. We want the best of both worlds, so we turn halfway in. So if you want to find that, and I wrote a description of this, put your wrists flat out like this in a nice relaxed position, then pivot 90 degrees, and just go back to the middle. And then all you got to do is put a stick there, okay? Nice and natural angle.